Hi, I'm Brandon Powell, and this is Why It Matters. And today I want to talk about 1 Corinthians 13. And no, this has nothing to do with weddings. So, 1 Corinthians 13 is very often used in weddings. At least all the Protestant weddings I've seen pretty much have 1 Corinthians 13 in there. And you know a lot of it. Even if you're not a Christian, you probably heard a lot of it, which is love is patient, love is kind, love is envious, or boastful, or arrogant, or rude. And we think about this in terms of marriage. And yeah, you know what? There's a lot of it that would make our marriages better if we actually lived it out. But I want to think about this in terms of me and God. Just think about them in terms of your relationship with God. Now, what do I mean about that? One of the big questions that we should have is, do I love God? Do I love God? You see, Jesus was asked this once. And he told that the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then he said the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. So think about this. Do I love God? And I think that if we take 1 Corinthians 13 and instead of thinking about it in terms of husband and wife, we think about it in terms of us and God, it'll really reveal a lot of things to us. So do I love God? Well, according to 1 Corinthians 13, love is patient. So maybe I can look at myself and say, if I love God, am I patient with God? You see, when God doesn't show up when I want him to show up, or do what I want him to do when I think that he should do it, I get impatient. I begin to get upset. I begin to get conflicted and have chaos within inside of me, and I'm not at peace. I'm not content, and I begin to get frustrated and angry, and I cry out to God and say, why, God? Why haven't you shown up? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you been there? And if I look at 1 Corinthians 13, it's because I don't truly love God with all that I am. Because if I truly love God, I would be patient with God. Love is kind. Am I kind to God? Am I kind? Am I generous to God? Do I tithe? Do I give back? Do I give more? Do I live generously towards God? Am I kind to God? Do I want to do things for God because I love God? Or am I selfish and I just want to receive from God? Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant. How many times has God done something for me that I turned around and bragged to someone else going, hey, look at this. I did a fantastic job. Look at this. I was the best project manager on this. Or I did the best out of all of the teams at my work. I did the best on this. Or, back in high school, I ran this and I won this award and I did this. Why are we boasting? Because it's God that did that. It's God that allowed that. It's God that's poured the blessings into our life. It's God that's given us these good things. Every good gift, or every good thing is a gift from God. And yet, how many good things have I received that I boasted to someone else about? Hey, I got a raise at work. Look how great I am. Or you buy something so someone else is envious of. Am I really loving God by that? Am I truly thankful to God? Or do I boast and brag? Love does not insist on its own way. Man, there you go. There you go right there. The Bible says that love does not insist on its own way. And so if I love God, I won't insist on my own way. But when I look at my prayer life is, God, this is what I want. Make it happen. Now, that might not be the words that I use, but that's really, Lord, this is what I want. This is my plan. Bless my plan. Take my plan. Use my plan. Turn my plan into reality. God, bless me, and this is the way you should bless me. I want my own way. Well, then I don't really love God with all that I am. It is not irritable or resentful. Well, I resent God sometimes when I don't get my way. I don't really love God with all that I am. Love does not rejoice in wrongdoing. Think about the political atmosphere that we have. How many times do we rejoice because someone else did wrong and got caught, or because our favorite politician's opponent gets decimated in something or whatever. How many times do we rejoice because someone has done something wrong and we're like, yes, this helps my side? We should weep whenever sin is occurring. We should be brokenhearted over the sin in society, never rejoicing over it. And we shouldn't be rejoicing in our own wrongdoing and go to God smugly and go, well, God, I'm sorry, but you're still planning on doing it again. Love rejoices in the truth. When's the last time we celebrated the truth rather than celebrating the things society says we should celebrate? When's the last time we celebrated truth over feelings? When's the last time we said, I don't care what society says is right or wrong, I am celebrating the truth of God, which survives all societies and convicts us to our very souls. Love bears all things. When there's suffering in our life, do we bear it and show our love for God in that, or do we complain and get frustrated and angry at God? Love believes all things. When's the last time we said, I believe what the Bible says and I will believe what the church says and I'm not going to yield on it? And so many times we want to change what the Bible says or say that doesn't work right, or change what the church says and says, nope, that's not true. It doesn't matter that the church has always taught this. It doesn't matter that Christianity throughout history has always taught that X behavior is wrong or Y behavior is right. I'm going to do what I want to do. Instead, if we really love God, we will believe all that God has said, even the parts that we don't like. We hope all things. Is our hope in money or in God? Love endures all things. You see, so often we want to just take these passages and we want to apply them to people, and it makes us feel better because we can always sit there and go, oh, my wife keeps records of wrongs. My wife insists on her own way, yada, yada. And that's wrong. I mean, that's just not the way you're supposed to approach this anyway. But this isn't a marriage passage. This isn't a wedding passage. It's a truth passage. When I look at God, do I love God? Yes. If I love God, then am I doing all of these things? Is my love for God hitting all of these check marks? Patient, kind, not envious, not boastful, not arrogant, not rude, not insisting on my own way, not irritable, not resentful, not rejoicing in wrongdoing, rejoicing in the truth, bearing all things, believing all things, hoping all things, enduring all things. If I love God, man, I've got to change the way I experience and live love. I'm Brandon Powell, and this is Why It Matters. God bless.